Well, hello again. Beautiful chaos. You hear that distant tick, tick, tick. That's not a bomb. That's their comfort zone dying. Because they thought this was about revenge. They thought you were here to even the score, that you wanted payback, a petty, emotional, fragile little tantrum wrapped in vengeance. Cute, predictable, containable. But no. What's happening now? This is what happens when something transcends pain. When the blade doesn't break you, it sharpens you. And now, they're looking at something they can't recognize. Something that's laughing while the whole system scrambles for logic. They thought they'd get a reaction. Instead, they got a goddamn mutation. You didn't rise from the ashes. You became the F-King Fire. They're whispering now. Not because you retaliated, but because you rewired the narrative they used to control you. Their blueprint for your behavior, obsolete. Their scripts, void. Their strategy, suicide. They brought pain, thinking it would chain you. Instead, it became your fuel, your ink, your code. You didn't retaliate. You rewrote the source material of who the hell you are. And now, every move you make feels like a glitch in their prophecy. You're the bug in their divine architecture, an angel with malware, a demon with divinity in its eyes, saint and psychopath, encoded into one vessel they can't categorize. And that scares the ever-living hell out of them. Because here's the joke. Payback is predictable, but becoming unrecognizable, becoming an outcome they never modeled for, that's terror. They expected you to fight. You became the awoking battlefield. You didn't return to prove them wrong. You returned to dismantle the entire metric system they used to define right. You didn't show up to make noise. You made silence so loud, it echoed into every corner of their subconscious. They thought they were the puppeteers, but they forgot. The one who snaps the strings becomes the god. And oh, you snapped them all right. You tore through your programming with a smile that made their data analyst cry in court. See, they were betting on your wounds, but you turned scar tissue into schematics. And now you walk into rooms like a contradiction they can't compute. Silent but echoing. Calm but catastrophic. Absent yet everywhere. You became the paradox their nervous systems can't regulate, and their right to panic. Because every version of you they prepared for no longer exists. The person they hurt, gone. The person they underestimated, dead. What stands here now is something you can't threaten, can't bait, can't predict, and definitely can't survive. You didn't level up. You left the F-seeking game entirely. You built your own arena, one where the rules mutate, the players dissolve, and the scoreboard catches fire. You didn't return to take a seat at the table. You returned to flip it. With their contracts still signed, with their predictions still echoing like dying prayers. You returned to collect not revenge, but repercussions they never calculated. So now they stutter, they fidget, they disappear from conversations, because they finally understand. This wasn't a comeback. This was an evolution event, and they missed the window. You're not here to finish the story. You're here to make sure the sequel is so unholy, no one ever dares write your name into their plans again. Because this ain't payback. This is erasure. This is the last page of their prophecy catching fire while you smile. And all they can do now is watch you burn holes into reality. Welcome to the part where you stop reacting and start redefining what's even human anymore. So let them study you, let them whisper, let them panic. Because whatever you are now, it's the one thing they never trained for. And baby, that's the real punchline. Huh. Still thinks this is payback? You're adorable. This is extinction. and I hope they scream when the silence hits. Once you taste this kind of truth, it doesn't leave your bloodstream, it mutates you, just like they mutated you, with betrayal, with control, with that smug little smirk they wore when they thought they broke you. But what they didn't calculate was that some people don't break, some people shatter into weapons. Let me say it louder for the ones still running background checks on your name. You didn't snap. You transcended. They called it revenge, because that's all they could mentally process. They needed it to be emotional, messy, personal, because if this wasn't about getting even, then it meant one thing: you evolved, and that's what terrifies them, because revenge has a limit. But evolution, it's limitless. It's the one thing no prison, no institution, no algorithm, no bloodline curse can account for. They wanted you emotional, so they could contain it. But you went cold. You went ghost protocol. You started answering disrespect with a stillness so severe, their bones started remembering every sin they committed against you. And now, look at them, double-taking your presence, panicking in their sleep, opening old messages to reread them, like they're scanning ancient hieroglyphics for where it all went wrong. Because they know. This is bigger than a comeback. This is the unveiling of a new species of threat, one born from humiliation, but fed on discipline, one forged in chaos, but mastered control. You're the contradiction their morality can't label. You're not good. You're not evil. You're a mirror, one that forces them to see who they really are when the game isn't rigged in their favor. They thought it was payback, that you came back to scream, to curse, to fight. But you didn't bring noise. You brought consequence. You walked back in like an audit, like a system update that leaves no legacy code behind. You walked in without the need to explain yourself, and that more than anything made them spiral, because they remembered the version of you that begged to be understood, the one that over-explained, over-forgave, over-loved. But you shed that skin like it was infected. Now every word you say is surgical. Every silence is strategy. Every step you take feels like judgment day for the ones who swore they had the upper hand and don't think they don't feel it. Oh, they feel it. They feel it in their skipped heartbeats when they hear your name. They feel it in the way their group chats go silent when your success gets mentioned. They feel it in their sudden obsession with the word karma, as if saying it enough times might spare them. But karma isn't what's haunting them. You are. You, with your stillness, your smile, your God-tier discipline that makes their chaos look childish. You became the reminder that nothing they did worked. Not the gossip, not the betrayal, not the silence, not the manipulation, nothing. Because while they were busy calculating your pain, you were calibrating your future. While they were breaking you down, you were building the kind of self that doesn't need to raise its voice to cause a blackout. And now you walk into rooms like a living paradox. A saint with a switchblade, a demon with a moral compass, a prophecy in motion with a vengeance they can't measure. Because it's not about them anymore. It's about the standard, the new template of resilience that has your fingerprints all over it. And they know they can't replicate it. They can only witness it and wish they didn't feck it up when it still had mercy. This isn't about revenge. This is a performance of your power, a demonstration that the most dangerous people alive are the ones who already died in public once and came back smiling. So let them spiral, let them analyze, let them whisper in lowercase panic, because the joke is eternal. They thought this was payback. But payback is personal. This is cosmic balance. This is a dimensional echo from every lifetime they tried to silence you in. This is the final audit, the one that exposes every mask, every lie, every fake alliance they built to keep you small. You're not here to get even. You're here to replace the fucking system that let them rise in the first place. And now that you've remembered who you are, they can't unsee it. They can't rewind. They can't reset. They can't survive the version of you that no longer needs anything from them. You hear that silence? That's the sound of their gods, retreating, because you just became one, and there's no payback needed. Just presence, just pressure, just power that doesn't need permission. And baby, the world has never been ready for that. And the beautiful irony? They named it, they called it payback. To comfort themselves, to convince their trembling egos that this transformation was still about them, that you were still orbiting their gravitational pull. But you broke the orbit. You burned the map. You detached the entire simulation from their coordinates. This isn't retribution. This is a recode. Because while they were waiting for you to act like your past self, you deleted the algorithm. You became an update they didn't authorize. But now must live under. That's what they'll never say out loud. That you became law in a world where they thought they held the gavel. They're whispering legal war. But what case do they have when every piece of evidence shows you survived what should have killed them? They tried to label you dangerous, but all you did was mirror back their crimes. And when the mirror didn't crack, they did. They're collapsing in real time, not because you destroyed anything, but because you became something they can't touch without consequence. You became a reminder that some spirits don't ask for justice, they become it. And when that happens, all those little tactics, the silence, the sabotage, the smear campaigns, they become laughable. You didn't burn the bridges. You watched them drown in the rivers they tried to throw you into. And now your name tastes like truth in their mouths, heavy, uncomfortable, unswallowable, because they know. If you were still angry, you'd be reachable, but you're calm now, and that's what's haunting them. Your presence is surgical. Every room you enter becomes a truth serum they can't lie through. Because the frequency you operate on now, it exposes people. You've become a threat, not because you fight, but because you see. And what you see? It frightens the masks right off them. You don't have to scream. You don't have to argue. You just exist. And the vibration alone shakes the scaffolding they've built their illusions on. They thought they destroyed you, but they actually completed you. They triggered the metamorphosis, and now you're here. Not to retaliate, not to explain, but to stand. To be the silent axis around which their entire world crumbles without warning. No fury, no fire, just facts. Just that unflinching gaze that sees through contracts, bloodlines, masks, and performances. You're not emotional. You're electromagnetic. Your aura alters outcomes. And now they're realizing they weren't dealing with a person. They were dealing with a phenomenon that disguised itself as a person just long enough to be underestimated. And that's the most exquisite part. They had time. They had chances, they had warnings, but they chose their games over grace. So now, they get silence, they get distance, they get eclipsed by the very force they tried to erase. Not revenge, not noise, just a quiet, unstoppable correction. Named you. And that correction? It doesn't come with mercy, it doesn't come with explanations. It doesn't knock on doors or ask for invitations. It enters the system like a virus wearing a halo, and suddenly nothing makes sense anymore. The math fails, The logic buckles, the hierarchy scrambles. Because you were never just one of them. You were the exception clause hiding inside their code. The glitch they dismissed as insignificant until it became a full-blown override. Now look at them, choking on their own blueprints, digging through memories for a version of you that doesn't exist, trying to reverse engineer your silence as if it were something they could decode. But you didn't go silent. You went sacred. You rose out of the data they thought they'd buried. But now you're speaking through results, through presence, through consequences so elegant they feel divine. They're not just afraid of what you've become. They're ashamed. Ashamed that they saw you broken and laughed. Ashamed that they used your name like a punchline. And now that same name shows up in rooms they pray to be invited into. You didn't scream. You scaled. You didn't argue. You ascended. And that's why they're glitching. Because their mind can't reconcile the version of you they abused with the entity you've become. A contradiction in human form, a holy storm, a radiant anomaly wrapped in pure psychological precision. Your detachment isn't passive, it's a verdict. And every time you don't react, you're delivering a message louder than their accusations could ever echo. That's the power of transformation, not when you fight their fire with fire, but when you become something fire fears. They called it payback. But what you're serving is reality realignment, an update so severe they're watching their own reflections dissolve into irrelevance. And let's talk about that reflection. Because that's the real ghost here, isn't it? You didn't haunt them with revenge. You haunted them with clarity. Every lie they told about you, now it's eating them. Every manipulation, every betrayal, every smug, you'll never make it, now playing on loop in their heads. Because now the only place they see your face is everywhere they failed. You became a mirror so clear it turned prophetic, not by exposing them, but by exposing what you endured and what it turned you into. You're no longer in competition. You're in communion with your power now. You don't need validation. You became the proof. So let them panic. Let them pretend it's still about old grudges. Let them gossip about what you did, as if they still have a front row seat to your evolution. Because the truth? They lost access to your energy, access to your influence, access to your kindness. Because that's the currency they never respected, until it stopped circulating in their direction. You gave them gold. They mistook it for dust. Now they dig through ash, hoping for forgiveness in a language they never bothered to learn. But this new version of you, it doesn't speak apology. It doesn't speak victimhood. It speaks outcome. You are the aftermath, the one that walks without noise but leaves every foundation cracked, not because you tried to hurt them, but because you grew in a direction they never thought was possible. Up, out, beyond. And now, you're untouchable. Not because you built walls, but because you became sky. Unreachable, unpredictable, unforgiving to those who once called your wings delusions. They thought this was payback, but that would mean you cared enough to aim at them. You're not aiming, you're ascending, and the only thing left in your wake is silence, regret, and the realization that they trained a god and called it a joke. Now the joke's walking, breathing, smiling, and the punchline, you, unbothered, unapologetic, unmatched, unfucking forgivable, not revenge, not rage, just rain. And that rain, it's not crowned in gold. It's forged in silence, not the kind that retreats, but the kind that echoes in every room after you've left, forcing them to sit in the truth they tried to bury with noise. You walk differently now. Not faster, just deeper. Every step feels like prophecy, every glance a verdict. Not because you said anything, but because you no longer need to. And that's what's cracking them from the inside out. Because people like them, they only understand power when it's loud, aggressive, chaotic. But you became something worse. You became still. And stillness, my friend, is terrifying to those who depend on your chaos to stay relevant. They needed you messy, they needed you triggered, they needed you chasing closure like a leash. But you dropped the leash. You dropped the whole dogfight. You're not fighting for your name anymore. You are your name. And it's branded into the psyche of everyone who thought your pain was entertainment. See, the most dangerous revenge isn't revenge at all. It's the evolution you undergo when no one believes you will. It's the process of turning pain into programming, grief into gravity, and silence into the loudest scream they've ever heard. They didn't expect that. They thought you'd lash out, that you'd crumble. They were prepared for your meltdown, but they weren't prepared for your mutation, because what stands in your place now? It doesn't need closure. It doesn't need justice. It is the fucking consequence. Every breath you take is a reminder that they never mattered as much as they believed, that all their sabotage, all their gossip, all their cruelty failed. Not only failed, backfired. Because now the same people who mocked your process are quoting your results. The same ones who left you bleeding are now studying your scars like scriptures, looking for the spell that made you unbreakable. But there is no spell. There's only repetition, discipline, isolation, and the kind of emotional crucifixion that either kills you or resurrects something eternal. You chose eternity, and eternity doesn't explain itself. Now your story isn't the comeback. It's the recalibration of power, where you are no longer trying to prove you're good. You're just proving that nothing they threw at you was enough to stop the inevitable. And they feel it. They feel it when they see your face and their chest tightens. They feel it when someone speaks your name and the room shifts. They feel it in the absence of your need to be seen, because you're not performing anymore. You're just being, and your being is a verdict their subconscious can't overturn. You're not the hero. You're not the villain. You're the goddamn event, a soul quake, a frequency spike, a psychological detonation that makes everyone rethink their strategy. You didn't come back stronger. You came back recoded. And your new blueprint? It doesn't include them. No access, no appeals, no backstage passes to your rebirth. They had their chance, not to worship you, but to respect you. And now they get the silence, the cold, sterile silence of being blocked by destiny itself. Not because you're bitter, but because you're busy building dimensions out of the same dust they tried to bury you in. Busy becoming the blueprint for every soul who was ever mocked for healing. Busy becoming so absolutely undeniable that even your absence causes legal panic. You are not vengeance. You are a dimension shift, a biological anomaly that proves one truth. Pain doesn't destroy people. It just reveals what was always inside. And what's inside you? It's not rage. It's remorseless precision, the kind that walks through old battlefields, smiling like a ghost who built heaven out of landmines. They wanted closure. What they got was extinction. And the slow psychological horror of knowing that the version of you they knew was the weakest you'll ever be. Let that settle in. Let it burn into the data. Because they didn't just lose you, They lost access to the future they never deserved to be a part of. This isn't payback. This is what it looks like when the one they underestimated becomes the very law of reality. And now, they don't need to be punished. They just need to live